We are now live, according to me. Hopefully, that's right. And
You are.
the topic for today is lead generation, what's working for me. Okay. Now, some of you may not have a good lead generation system working for you. Then if that's the case, that's fine. Just simply learn from everybody else. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Okay. At the end of the day, we all like to have good leads, right? There's no doubt about that. And I'm sure that we'll pick up some gems from each other through the process here. Just a minute, I just admit Anna as well. So to start with, Sandy, by the way, the new painting sensation of the group, your first cab off the rank, my man. Lead generation, what's working for Sandy?
Okay, well, it took me a while to understand lead generation. And, I mean, I'm sure you all know this, is that there's paid leads and there's free. And what I use is free. And so you to me is you have a choice of a platform to use to generate your leads. And the one I use is Facebook. And I think I might have said this before, Facebook is a very sophisticated application. I would say it could take a lifetime to learn how to use it properly. There's so many bells and whistles, but I use Facebook for my lead generation. And I guess in my case, I do some curiosity posts. I'll do a post where my call to action will be is if you're interested, message me. And so when I get comments back, I just go in and reply to them. And I say, before I even send you the link, let's talk on Messenger. Let's find out what it is you really need, so you're not just plunging into something. So I'm just sort of giving you the workflow that I go through. So I spend quite a bit of time on Messenger, just talking to people. And then on Messenger, I don't give them the link until they request it, right? I don't just, kick the link out to them right away. I talk to them. I say, in essence, what I'm kind of doing is qualifying them. And then I'll send them a link. And usually when I send that link, by the way, it's a clone link. I try to shorten it, is another thing. Sometimes you might find if you've got a particular link, even on Messenger, they will reject it. So I usually use Bitly, and I'll clone the link, shorten it down, and then I'll send it to them. And I would say almost everybody because I've taken the time to chat with them, they actually take action and sign in. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but that's sort of the process that I go
Sandy,
through.
let me get this right. You're an organic leads person rather than a paid advertising one, correct?
Correct.
And if I understood you correctly also, most of your leads are created by you doing outbound rather than inbound. Is that correct?
Actually, I get a combination of both. To be honest with you, is in some cases, I'll have people message me, want to connect, and I'll still go through the same conversational piece with them. Like, why did you get in contact with me? Have you really checked my profile? What? I mean, this is after just having a general conversation with them about where they live, what's going on in their lives or whatever. But yeah, I do both, Peter. But I got to say this to you is I've got a YouTube channel. I do YouTube. I do Instagram. So I'm doing a number of different, I'm going to call them platforms as well. So I'm getting free leads from various sources. But all I tried to say here is that Facebook, there's a lot to learn on Facebook on how to do it properly. And again, there's just a lot to it.
Okay. Sandy, if people were interested, do you have some sort of message templates that you use?
No, what I do is I look at, actually, I'll call it, I clone some messages. I look at people's messages. I look at the number of comments they've got, and I essentially modify my particular post, if you like, or my messages. No, I don't have a template, Peter.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Sandy?
Just curious, Sandy, what do you do?
What I do is I actually help people make their first dollar online. I do affiliate marketing. I just, help people set up a home-based business. That's really it.
Oh,
Okay,
Tom,
thanks.
you asked this last week and I forgot to do that this week. My apologies, right? So before you answer your thing about lead generation, and not just for Tom only, just spend a minute telling people what you do, okay, and what you can do for people before you get into the lead generation bit. So, Stephen, you're next cab off the rank, my man.
Okay, most of you know me already, but for those who don't, I have three thrusts of business, of trident, if you will. I'm an online presence developer. I do the tech stuff for online. I help people learn it, and I hire out to do it for them. I'm a business success guide. I've been in business all my life, since the age of 14, actually. And I've had some real successes and some miserable failures and a few things in between. I've sold businesses, I've folded them, and I've had them fold on me. So I've learned a lot about business, what works and what doesn't. And so I bring that to the table today. And I'm a personal mindset mentor. I've had some fabulous mentors myself over the years, and I've studied since my mid-teens. I've studied the subconscious mind, and for the last 35, 40 years, I've studied the law of attraction. And so I bring that to bear in the mindset area, which is really necessary for people moving forward on what I call their journey of success. So when it comes to leads, I've had kind of a interesting change of direction. I'll be 70 this year. I'm 69. And when I was just turning 60, up until that time, my presentation, my professional activity revolved around websites, for a significant number of years before that. And I've been doing websites for 30 years now. And so I was focused in on that. And as I was turning 60, I kind of made a right turn and got involved into coaching. I was doing it a lot anyway. It just was a natural byproduct of what I did. And so I made the decision to focus more on that. And I've actually not liked the word coaching or coach. Makes me think too much of football, which was a nightmare for me. And so I use the term guide and mentor. And about the year 2000, I came across a book by Joe Vitale called Spiritual Marketing, and that touched me. It's a book I highly recommend to people. And then following that, in 2010, I came across another book by the HubSpot co-founders, Brian Halligan and Dharmesh Shah, called Inbound Marketing. And both books were really on the same topic. They just took different approaches to it. The HubSpot book, of course, coined the phrase inbound marketing and got into the process in more detail, whereas Joe Vitale's was more an essay on the subject and a focus on the spirituality of marketing and what could be done. But those two books really have to do with what's working for me when it comes to lead generation, and that simply is inbound marketing. I haven't paid for an ad in 10 years. I seldom have to sell. People ask me in sessions like this, well, what's your call to action? How do you close? Well, I don't really have a call to action, and I seldom have to close. My prospects come to me on their own, and they usually ask simply something like, how much, or where do I sign? And that's nice, because I've been in sales most of my life. I started out in sales, and I've worked some pretty healthy sales jobs and done some, major corporate sales. And it's tough, and we don't like sales generally. So not having to do them is cool. So I convert more than 90% of those people into paying clients. So inbound marketing works for me.
Okay. So 90% is an incredible conversion rate, Stephen. That really is. Oh, I'm impressed. I love inbound marketing. Attraction marketing, the whole shooting match. But I have never got near a 90% conversion rate.
You probably have more people come to you than I do, though. So, 90% of a smaller number is a less number. I think you do pretty well.
Well, I don't know. Do my best. Anyway, thank you. Any questions for Stephen?
I'm jealous of your closing rate.
Sandy.
Oh, sorry. Okay. No, I love it. Attraction marketing is, I mentioned what I was doing on Facebook, but I also do a lot of attraction marketing. I mean, it's fantastic. For anybody that's not familiar with it, they should really I can't remember the gentleman's name right now, but if you ever just go to YouTube and look up attraction marketing, it'll give you the big concept, because what you really want is, I think like Peter said, inbound. Get people coming to you, and, because they're coming to you, you've in essence already have some permission to chat with them, build a relationship. So yeah. And again, there's a lot to that to get that to work properly.
Yeah, there's several names for the same thing: attraction marketing, spiritual marketing, inbound marketing, permission marketing. That was Godin's term for it, I think. And there's several others, and they're basically all the same thing. You put yourself out there, you become the go-to person, the expert, the authority in your niche, and you do that by giving freely without expectation of return. And out of doing that, people come to you. They want to hire you because, you say, well, why would they want to hire you? You're giving everything away. Well, it's because they want you. They want your personal attention. They want your time. They recognize that you're the right person. So they come and they say, well, how much? What does it cost for me to hire you? And those are the cream of the crop that you want as clients. And so you can give away a whole lot of stuff, and yet, in time and your efforts, and the people that come to you are mostly exactly the one you want. The other 10% that I don't close, they're usually good people with good interests and good issues. We're just not a right fit. Me for them for me, whichever, or both. And so I'll look for people to turn them over to, and you guys are some of them. I'll if I have a person that I think is the right fit. It's why I love this group and getting to know you all. I can send those people your way, and they're not my cast-offs in the sense that they're lesser than the type of person I would take. We're just not the right fit. I can tell from those conversations, like you have, Sandy.
Dan Kennedy was the gentleman I'd done a lot of study with because of direct mail, direct marketing, and then becoming using attraction marketing. And great concept, really works well. Takes a while to learn, but once you get that engine running, the universe, I actually can get more leads than I can handle, to be honest with you.
Wow, good on you, Sandy. I'm delighted to hear that, because that's rare. That's rare.
Yes, it is very rare. right? But I think it has to do with my personality a bit, for sure. And, my easygoingness, and also my ability to truly want to give and help people.
Okay.
I mean, that's genuine, and that helps with the attraction part of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Stephen. Before we go to you, Yvonne, just welcome to Patrick. Nice to see you, Matt. Patrick join, and John Allen. Nice to see you join us. And Neha, I've been pronouncing your name Neha. I am very sorry, Neha. So I hope I got the pronunciation right. Before I just throw to you, Yvonne, and because you are my customer experience queen, I just throw a couple of things in there for people who are watching. What I have found useful is customer relationship management software. And I am a technophobe. Really, I am hopeless with technology. But there's two in particular. One is a free one, HubSpot. Okay. There's also paid options in there, but HubSpot, for those who aren't aware of it, check it out, because they've done a lot of development work in it, and I'm sure some other people here can attest to that. The other one is called Salesforce.com. It's not free, but you can get the essential package for about $25 a month. And what that does, it helps you manage your accounts, your clients, the contacts you have, the lead generation, and building the relationship and opportunity with them at the same time. And they've got a stack of stuff. And the problem with Salesforce.com is you can get lost in the weeds with too much information. So if you look at it and you get confused, send me a message and we can chat about it. I've got no financial interest in it, but I've used it before and it's been quite helpful. So just want to throw that in there, all right? So Salesforce.com and HubSpot. And there's a stack of other list building type things as far as lead generation is concerned as well, but we'll come back to that. Yvonne, thank you for joining us. By the way, everybody, just talk softly with Yvonne. She's struggling this morning, and she's graced us with her presence, and she's not well. So I truly appreciate you, Yvonne. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And, yes, I'm not feeling well, but I wanted to be here because I feel like this is a great way to end my week, my work week, even though I do work on Saturdays and occasionally on Sundays. But I've come to love this group and I like being here. So I felt it was important to be here. So let me just share a little bit about me that how many female entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, they know their stuff, but they may not know how to really build a business around what their knowledge is. I help them with that. I help them grow their business by building strong relationships with their clients and customers, exactly what Peter was talking about a minute ago. This way, they stop the customer chase or the client chase, and they nurture the relationship with the ones they have, and so that they're able to make a greater impact, increase their income, and have fun in their business, because fun is very, very important in your business. And they do this with courage and confidence. Now, what has been working for me in lead generation? This saying that you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar? Okay, my vinegar is writing people messages on social media and inviting them to calls when they don't know me. That doesn't work for me. It doesn't work when I'm the recipient, and I don't do that with other people. What has been working for me, especially in the past, I would say past 3 to 4 months, is speaking. I'm invited to speak, whether I'm a featured speaker for someone like I was for the International Speakers Association, and everything is virtual these days, or it's just in a networking event, something like this, where I get a chance to share a story about me. And the leads may not always become clients or customers. Some of those are JV partners. Because right now, as a result of a speaking opportunity, someone and myself are actually planning an event, a monthly event somewhat like this. We've both done it before, because I did meetups, I did local workshops and all that. I love working with people in face-to-face settings. So we can't do it now, so we do it virtually. And I've been invited to do something with another person who heard me speak. And on Wednesday, I was at an event. I got 2 LinkedIn invitations and follow-ups on those. So it's just speaking, sharing your story. Peter talks about this a lot, and I didn't realize how many stories I have until I started telling stories, because sometimes we don't think they're stories and they're relevant, but they can be very relevant. And I give you a quick one to share with you just how simple this can be. Last Friday, when I wasn't here, I was on my way to an appointment. When I was about 3 miles away from home, it suddenly hit me, you don't have your debit card. And I had to go to the bank to get money to pay. And why did I not have my debit card? Because I changed my handbag. And my debit card was still in the handbag, not in my wallet or my purse, in the new handbag that I changed to. Now, how could I use that as a story? If I'm doing a presentation on organization, I can bring that in and say, this is why it's important to be organized, and put things back where they belong, so you don't lose them and have to turn back when you're 3 miles down the road. So incorporate stories. So that you talked about inbound marketing, Stephen and Sandy. This is how you pull people to you, because they hear your story and something resonates with them, and then they reach out to you. So that's my little tip for lead generation.
Good. Good. Any questions? Any questions?
Yeah, I'll just jump in here. Stories. Oh my gosh, the value of stories are so important. And just what you said is, I get lots of invitations to speak, on meetups and that type of thing. So yeah, once you do a few of them, you suddenly realize that you've probably got a lot to say, and more important, you've got a lot to share, and you've got a lot to give. So yeah, absolutely. Anytime you get a speaking opportunity, especially online, you're really getting access to a huge audience, and you didn't have to put the coffee and donuts on or the sticky buns. You didn't have to do all the marketing to get the audience, all that kind of thing as well. So yeah, I'm with you 100% with that one.
Good.
Thank you, Sam.
Good. Thank you, Yvonne, very much indeed. Next one, before I move on, for those who are watching the replay, not necessarily the people who join me here, I just jotted down this one too. This is a bit of, it's a Gmail extension that you might find of interest. It's free, but you can actually, and then they'll charge up to $5 a month. It's called Boomerang. Anyone ever heard of it? Boomerang. It's a Gmail extension that allows you to schedule emails. It's all part of the lead generation system, right? and it's a lot less expensive than the normal autoresponder. And I use GetResponse sorry, for those who are watching, not sure what I'm talking about, my apologies, but email marketing is still an important part of building lead development, right? I use GetResponse. I'm not saying it's the best in the world, as Aweber's, et cetera, et cetera. But I also used a commercial version of Gmail. I pay Google for the privilege of using my peterbeckham.com domain name as the email address. It's called care@peterbeckham.com. So that's a paid service from Gmail. And when I do that, I get Boomerang automatically. In other words, I can use this Boomerang to replace GetResponse and send out scheduled emails for free. Okay, so have a think about it. It's just an idea to think about. And the other one I've got is called, and it's not me, but I can't remember the person I got this from, but I'll look at it for you. It's called Endless Free Leads. It's Endless Free Leads from Facebook. If you're interested, what I will do is I will put the link to a video I've got on that on my website. If anyone's interested, just drop a comment under the replay, and I'll leave a link there for it. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. I'm just trying to be helpful. Next cab off the rank is Pat Dryer. Oh, sorry, Neha. Yes. Yes, Neha. You got your hand up? Yes. Sorry, Pat.
Oh, no problem.
Yes, I one moment, Pat. Sorry. Peter, I have a question of you. Is your service tied with G Suite?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll come.
That's the paid service of
Gmail.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. By the way, John, you're appearing on my screen twice here. I'm not sure you got a blank spot and thing. So maybe you want to cancel one of them. Anyway, Pat, over to you, my man.
Yeah, John, one of them looked like your dog had it on his back. It was running all around the house.
I didn't want to say that.
Well, at least he didn't take it in the bathroom like we've seen on some people, right?
All right, Pat.
All right. Even with all its problems, Facebook is still my place that I go to for everything. And as far as social media goes, I do have a Twitter account. I do have an Instagram account. But if you want to connect with people, Facebook is still a place. Still got all the people that are there. And again, with all the wonderful problems that it has with politics, as long as you stay away from that and run your business on it, I think you can do well, and I have. So I know it works, and that's where I go to it. And I'm Pat Dryer, and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm in network marketing. I had my other careers behind me, and at the age of 64, the corporate world isn't where I want to be anymore, and so I don't think they want me either. So we're in good place.
Okay. Pat,
But anyway, what I do
give
is
me one lead generation process that you use on Facebook.
absolutely, that's where I was going. What I do is I use pages of people like Tony Robbins, Eric Worre, Grant Cardone, and I go to the pages because they're followed by millions of people. And so what I'll do is I'll go into the posts that are there and start looking at the comments. And when a comment resonates with me, I'll go in and check out that person that made the comment, make sure that they're real, that they've got a nice profile, that they'd be a fit with me and I'd be a fit with them. And then I make a comment to them. You know, I tell them how much I appreciate what they said and that I believe the same thing. And, you know, just try to connect with them.
Mm.
And so when I do connect with them, what we do is try to move them over to direct messaging. At that point, I offer them a gift, usually the Science of Getting Rich. So I give them a book, and then we just connect, and I do that all day long, as much as I can, and it comes back in spades.
Okay. Could you give me an idea of how much time you'd spend each day doing that particular thing, Pat?
Probably just a couple of hours, really.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it forever. It would drive you crazy. I'm sorry, I missed that.
So I beg your pardon. A couple of hours a day is enough for you to generate as many leads as you need.
Well, I do that, but I also I cold call. So there's a difference there too. So as being in network marketing, I buy lists of network marketers, people that have been in the business before, and I cold call them, and I'll call about 100 people a day, and I get a lot of leads that way also.
Wow. You are one active man, Pat Dryer. No doubt about it.
Well, you know,
100 calls a day?
it's a great business, and when you build it right, it just comes back to you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. I've run some group workshops for network marketing companies, but Pat, I haven't come across many people who make 100 calls a day. Good. I mean, you're the exception to the rule.
Well, it's when I was in the corporate world, I used to work 8 to 12 hours a day, and a lot of it was away from the house, and sometimes with international travel, as we talked about. So when I can put 4 hours into this business and make the same kind of money or more, I'm not going to complain too hard, you know?
Yeah, point taken. Okay. Thanks, Pat. Any questions for Pat? Anyone there?
No, I don't have a question. I just have a statement that, Pat, maybe I need to sit with you because cold calling is something I am terrified of. I have tried it. I even actually had a friend, an associate, a business associate, who would do by 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., he would have done 40. And I actually paid him for 3 months and said, keep me accountable. And he would call me and say, I'm going to make them later. And I never, ever did what I said I was going to do with that. So I'm very open and honest with that because it terrifies me.
Yeah, I saw something like that years ago about cold calling. And it was like hands coming out of the phone and grabbing you by the neck. And it says, this can't happen. Don't worry. Nobody's going to hurt you.
Exactly. I know that mentally, but psychologically it's a different matter.
The phone weighs a ton when you have to do that, doesn't it? It's very hard to pick up. 40
pounds.
Sandy.
Yeah, Pat, what I was going to say is instead of doing all that outbound work, if you're able to convert that to inbound, if you don't mind your phone ringing, then it's a great opportunity to connect with people. I like to have it inbound, but I don't have a problem doing outbound as well. But most of my stuff, my clients, it's all inbound. And I'm coaching them every day. Sometimes I rather do it, even they feel more comfortable doing it on the phone than, in a Zoom call or something, so we kind of slip away from the technology. Sometimes getting them offline is as good as getting them online.
Well, I still get some inbound out of this, but it's a whole lot faster, and I fill the pipeline out a lot quicker by doing it this way.
Well, you're the guy taking the action, and making that many calls. I give you so much credit. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Actually, before we move to you, Pen, I'll get a question for you in a moment. Before we move to you, one thing that I have done that creates a lot of lead potential for me is with the Facebook Lives. And I'm not talking about the comments, but at the end of nearly every Facebook Live I've ever done, I always have some sort of call to action, and I insist on them messaging me if they want access to the material, all right? And all that does, and I provide that willingly and with great pleasure, and I think many people here have done that anyway, right? So you know what I'm talking about. But when you go to my website to pick up your material, you'll see there is also some passive income streams available there. That's part of my income. But more importantly, I build my reputation with people by giving them content that they find of some value. That's what I'm getting at. And it doesn't take long to do that. And quite surprisingly, Pat, I don't make 100 calls a day. I haven't done that, goodness gracious, since I was in the life insurance business, right? And even then I didn't do 100. I was too lazy, right? But I would get on average every week, hang on, I'll tell you exactly. Excuse me. Last week, 47. I got 47 people reach out to me asking to have a conversation with me on Zoom. I can't handle that many. All right, I really can't handle it.
Yeah.
So, and the week before, 25, and the week before that, 19, the week before that, 37. So, I mean, somewhere between 20 and 30. And that's coming from Facebook Lives, basically. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, Peter, if I can, is I just did a Facebook Live on, 8 tips of using Facebook Live. And the thing I want to emphasize is that if you had to have your own studio, your own lighting, your own audio, your own set, if you use Facebook Live, you really have your own studio. And you're responsible for setting up the lighting and your background and the presentation. You're the script writer. You're everything. But what a beautiful vehicle for generating interest and giving great content and value as well. So I'm just on the bandwagon. Yes, and positioning. I'm just on the bandwagon to doing more Facebook Lives, but what a tool.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Pat. I admire you.
Hey, Peter, one thing there, as far as you got 47 people that want to do Zooms with you. One of the things that I do to be able to talk to a lot of people at the same time is I direct them to direct messaging, and we have, it's one-sided, but we have conversations there through chat. So we talk on direct messaging, and it's a back and forth, and whenever they can get to it and whenever I can get to it, we still have that chat, but it doesn't take 15 minutes. Everybody wants some time out of you. They want to tell you their story and how bad things are for them, but a lot of people don't want to do it. So if you can direct the conversation and the way things are going with it, you don't need to necessarily listen to the bad parts of it. You just keep them on the high side of things. But if you're doing that through voice, through direct messaging on both sides, it seems to work for me.
Yeah, I do that, Pat. These applications for a Zoom conversation are based on messaging.
Gotcha.
Actually based on messaging. Anyway, can leave that.
You bet. Well,
all right.
Thanks again for this. You bet.
Thank you, Pat. Okay. Now, Penny, you got a question first of all? Yes? Go.
Sorry, I had to run to the washroom. Pat, what is it that you do?
I'm in network marketing.
Right.
Just like
what is your
company, Mike? I'm sorry?
What is your company or your niche, your industry?
Yeah, it's My Daily Choice is the name of the company. HempWorks, it's the same thing as
okay.
Pat Kern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's a company of brands. So it's all kinds, HempWorks being their big one.
Nice.
Okay. Thank you, Pat.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay. Penny, over to you.
Hi. Okay, a little bit about myself is my background is I have a degree in psychology, law, and accounting. I work full-time as a GIS technician, which is like an engineer draftsman, so nothing to do with what I'm educated in. And I own 2 businesses as well. So, and I take care of my mom. What seems to be working for me in my business this last 2 months is Facebook stories. And so I post a little story or engagement post or something, and then they comment, and it always goes to Messenger. And that starts a conversation, right? Where they've approached me. Then they want to I ask them a little bit about themselves, like, tell me about yourself. Where do you live? What do you do for a living? Just small chit chat. And when it comes up with the story and they comment, I'm finding my before and after pictures seem to be working because I'm in health and fitness right now. Mm-hmm. I offer some free programs that I do. And when they find out that I'm a grandma of three living grandchildren and 1 deceased, and the oldest grandchild is 19, that seems to really be a bang this month anyway for like face creams and stuff and health and fitness. So I'm not exactly sure why they're surprised I'm a grandma. Maybe I look young, I hope. But it just seems to work. And so we just share life stories back and forth. And the reason I say it seems to be working is because I started doing more Facebook stories beginning of December. And this month alone, we just looked this morning, we got 27 new customers this month alone. So it just seems to be working, and they're approaching me.
Wow. Well done, Penny. Well done.
Yeah, I was pretty proud.
Things are working for you.
They are.
Can I ask you a question without notice?
Yeah.
You got 27 new customers this month, is that correct?
Yes.
I don't want to look at the financials of it. I just want to look at the conversion figure. Do you have any idea of the conversion ratio you have between the number of people you connect with and the number who become customers?
I had 50 new connections from January 4th to this morning. And out of those 50 new connections, I had 27 new customers actually order.
So more than 50% conversion rate.
That's
Correct.
great.
So you must be doing something very, very right, Penny Kennedy.
Very good.
I've tried it before and it didn't work, but that's what's working currently. And I'm
Okay.
constantly pivoting in my business, right? I mean, we all have to in this industry, so.
Right. If anyone wants to reach out and talk to you in more detail about this conversion, would you mind talking to them?
Not at all. I'd love to.
Okay. Thank you, Penny. Thank you very much indeed. Yvonne.
Just a quick one. Penny, could you put your information in the chat, please, your contact? I'm more, I'd love to talk with you about the care that you're giving for your mother, because I am doing something that I would love to interview caregivers.
I'm not sure what you mean. I'm her next of kin and I help out, but she's now in a home.
Oh, she's not in your home.
Not anymore. My
Okay,
mom is now.
Let's
Okay,
talk off
my-
camera so we don't hold this up.
Okay.
Yeah, Yvonne, by the way, I was a caregiver for 6 years, so I've been there, done that. So if you want to talk to somebody,
Sandy.
yeah, I've done it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Penny. Welcome, Fred, by the way. Nice to see you, my man.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Just got back home after doing a little bit of babysitting for the grandkids, so figured I'd jump on.
Good on you, Grandpa. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Next cab up the rank, Tom.
Morning, everybody, or whatever time of day it is for you. Sorry again for my photo and not my ugly mug, but yeah, it's 5 something in the morning here, so you don't want to see me in my PJs. But anyway, lots of good stuff this morning. Really appreciate all the input. And yeah, a couple of you have talked about Facebook Lives, and I'm still working up the courage to start doing my Facebook Lives. I tend to pre-record my videos and send them out, so that's on the list to do. I've been just real brief about me. I've been a digital marketer and web developer for forever, it seems like, and I'm making a major pivot in the last few months to healthcare or health coach or health wellness coach, I guess. And I have a autoimmune disease called psoriasis that about 8 million people in the country have. And I've discovered a way to control the uncontrollable disease without toxic medications. And I'm almost 100% in remission. So I'm on a mission to help people that have psoriasis and other autoimmune diseases like vitiligo, alopecia, and rheumatoid arthritis, and some of the others, basically with diet. And there's a process that we go through to learn how to do that. So talking about lead generation, kind of in my old world, I've got what I call a couple of, blog posts have been really helpful for me because you can repurpose a blog post in multiple places. And I love writing. And so I've got what I call 2 unicorn blog posts. I always put search engine optimization on them. And 2 of my blog posts generate probably 95% of the traffic to my older website, about 3,000 visits a month. And so I've got a lead capture tool that it's a pop-up that when they visit that blog post that pops up and, hey, would you like to get my free ebook about blah, blah. And that generates about 5 leads a day, give or take. And so that's something that I do. But pivoting into the health world, I've got lots of things that I'm going to be doing, but I'm just kind of getting spun up on some things. I just finished my ebook yesterday, just sent it to Peter. And so I've got my shiny new ebook that will also be promoted on my new website, and will be a tool that I'll use to get leads in the door.
Okay.
So that's
By
me.
the way, everybody, it's one heck of a ebook. Tom, I really am impressed with it. You've done a huge job with that.
Thank you, sir.
And once again, if you know anybody in your family or yourself or anyone who suffers from that terrible psoriasis, please contact Tom. Okay, he's a good man and he's got a great solution for you. Now, before we move on to Anna, thank you, Tom. By the way, any questions?
Yeah, and I just wanted to add one more thing, Yvonne, too. I'm also a caretaker, and if anybody wants my ebook, I'm happy to send it to them. But my wife, I'm 58, and we're relatively young, I guess. But a decade ago, my wife got a mystery disease that ultimately turns out it was an autoimmune disease too, but instead of attacking her skin, it attacked her brain and caused brain injuries, paralysis, and so she's now permanently disabled. And so I am her full-time caretaker as well. So I've definitely been in those shoes for many years as well as a caretaker. So
Yvonne and Tom, talk to each other, okay?
Yeah. So
excellent. Thank you very much, Tom. Any other questions for Tom? Okay, I appreciate you, Tom, getting out of bed so early. Thank you very much, my man. Now, before we go to you, Anna, I just got a message from Lisa Anna Palmer. She said to say hello to you all, but she's preparing for a really big opportunity this morning and she just couldn't make it. So she'll be here next week. So without any further ado, Anna Robson.
Good afternoon, morning, day, night, all the days, all the times to everybody. So for those who don't yet know, I am an executive leadership coach. So I usually work with executives and decision makers that have been in decision-making roles for minimum of 5 years. So this is important to bear in mind when I'm telling you what I do for lead generation, which is very little these days because I think it takes a lot of time. But I like to do things very smartly, so as much as smartly as possible. And so what I did was write down a couple of notes, and one of them is I separate lead generation from ongoing relationships to the proverbial part of the closing of the client. So I do a mix of inbound and outbound because I really don't like, well, I do like hitting all of my campaign from different fronts. So for example, inbound marketing, outbound, and my main tip that I wanted to mention today is positioning, really, because for me that means you're talking to the right people about the right thing where you can serve them the most effectively, if you will. So it's not just who you want to work with, but also who you can serve and whom you can help the most. So for me, that includes maintaining, relationships and keeping everybody abreast of what I'm doing. So, for example, something I do that helps is I connect with somebody I've known for a long time in terms of they know the quality of work I do. They know my ethics. We've known each other for long enough that they've seen that once you engage with Anna Robson, you engage with commitment, for example, right? And I say, you know me for a while, you know what I do. Some of that person might be a previous client or a colleague, and you know what I'm about, you know my personality. Is there anybody you can think of that you can introduce to that would be interesting for me to talk? It doesn't necessarily need to be a sales talk. That's what I say. It could be just a general human interest type of introduction. I don't mind those because you never know what's happening, what will happen in the future. But getting to know people, having people who know me introduced to people they know, and have also created that trust with them, is the thing that works the best for me. Because in my type of business, cold calling is not really a thing. I do at that point, I'm already do a contact. Hey, Peter, and then I send a request, and then people usually are very amenable to this, as I am to those I've worked with in the past as well. If I know the quality of work, if I know the ethics, the commitment, the human part of it, then I'm happy to do this for others. But I always come at it from not for whom you think my services could be of use of. I always go first for the human part first. Who do you know that it would be interesting for me to chat with? Interesting being the main word. So that's my main tip. But I actually didn't know how many tips we need to do, so I wrote a whole bunch, so, just in case. So, yep, that's my
So
thing.
it's both a personal and professional combination approach. Yeah.
Yes, that's what works best for me. And that's what I'm also most comfortable with, because I have a whole thing about, I'm all about stepping out of my comfort zone with cold calling. But is it the smartest thing to do? Is it worthwhile for me to get out of my comfort zone so that's where I come from. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Anna?
I already see that Pat Dryer has one.
Yeah, Anna, that's a great technique. And actually using the who do you know, it could actually pertain to the person you're talking to, because they might come back to you and say, well, you know what? I'm interested in talking to you.
I like you too, yes.
Right? But you never know if they will or not. So that's a great technique. Thanks for sharing that.
Neha, sorry. Oh, I did it again. Neha.
No problem, Peter. Thank you. Hi, Anna. So how can I please know a little bit more about how that goes when you ask other people that know you well and know what you stand for, and how does it work out when they are introducing other people to you, or maybe they themselves are interested in working with you? How does that go?
Oh, so, well, I'm assuming you're asking from the process. What do I say and how do they do it?
No, I'm saying, so you have asked someone to introduce someone to you whom you may be interested. So what's like in essence, like not necessarily conversion rate, but the introduction rate, if you will. Yeah.
So the introduction rate is pretty good. So I don't have people who say no. I have people who sometimes take a month versus 2 days to introduce me to somebody. So sorry about my voice. I'm still having allergies, but in that regard, it might take a while, but then the conversion rate is considerably greater as well. But that can also, because my services are quite in depth. I don't do small contracts really, right? So everything takes bigger proportions. It means that sometimes I get that return on investment in, let's say, half a year, which is in my line of business, it's fine. Again, it also depends on how many people I ask. If I ask 5 people, I will get 5 potential introductions. Right? And if I ask 10 or 15 people, which I do sometimes go through the years, and I once again ask the same people, in 2 years, have been thought of somebody new by the break I gave you from thinking about it, right? So, and then you get the 10 introductions, but they're thoughtful introductions. They're not just somebody who might be interested in my services. This is already somebody, hey, I know Anna from this, and this. I know Peter from this, and this. I think you guys have a lot to talk about. And sometimes even given the introduction, what you can talk about. Like, you both are really into leadership and emotional intelligence. Go forth and talk about it, kind of thing. So it becomes a friendlier and much more friendlier affair right away than trying to break through the cold ice of trying to get, because for me, I'm very bad at the first, at least I'm sorry, very bad. I struggle very badly with the first getting to know somebody. but I'm very good at the discovery part of the, and then the closing I'm good at. But the lead generation itself, from cold calls, is a much more difficult thing for me because culturally I grew up in a culture where things are so different. You know, I struggle with that. So I go with my strong suits. I know that people who know me know my quality work, my who I am. So it's easier for me because I don't know, it works for me. So I go with what works for me.
Thanks. One more question.
Mhm.
How is it that do you speak with them, like pick up the phone and talk to them, or you just
No,
send them a message on
I
email?
never do that. Yeah, by the way, Sandy, yes, I'll just say, you know, I don't like it when people call me, and I don't like calling people. That's
Okay.
just not how I like to communicate with people. I ask for either an email introduction or kind of some other social introduction. Like I would rather spend the time on a Zoom call for an hour with somebody I potentially may not know very well yet, but and even that's how I got to know Peter. Lisa Anna introduced us, and we hopped out on a call, all three of us, and we chatted for an hour. And for me, this bodes better, much better than uh, most of the other ways I've tried in the past. So, yeah.
Thank you, Anna. Any other questions for Anna?
Joanna.
Neha, okay. All right. Just before we move on, one other quick tip that I use, and you may find it helpful. I spend 30 minutes a day. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, okay? But 30 minutes of it, I spend in coaching groups. I'm a member, because as a coach, I join other coaching groups. And I go out of my way to provide a comment on the posts that are created by leading members in the group, and I challenge them. I actually go out of my way to challenge them. Are you really sure about X, Y, and Z? I have found from my experience A, B, and C. I just do that. Sometimes I do it just to see what reaction I get. Okay. Sometimes I do it. I mean, by the way, I'm not telling a lie. I'm telling the truth. But what happens is I always get some sort of reaction. And more often than not, I'll get a friend request from that person. And that is a way that I have actually, it's been a really interesting little lead generator for me as well. All right, this is an aside. All righty, thank you very much. Fred, let's call you because I know I laid this for you, my man, so I'll get you on.
Unmute. Yeah, well, I think most people know what I do. There's a few other people here in the room that do the same thing. So I create websites. I'm the tech guy that does all the programming and stuff to get things working together. So set up autoresponders, do bots. Lately, I've actually been looking at texting. So where you text, for example, I've just set up a number where somebody will text Fred to the number and they'll get an immediate response that takes them to a bot and then pre-qualifies them to find out what service that I offer they want. So I'm in the process of testing that as a new lead generation tool. So, but normal stuff, just talking to people, referrals, mainly that's where most of my business always came from. And it's really only since COVID that I've started to look at promoting myself online because I really didn't need to before.
Okay. Any questions for Fred? Thank you, Fred. Any questions? I've got one, Fred. What is the best source of leads for you? You didn't really answer that.
At the moment, it's referrals. So that's what's working for me still.
Okay.
So like people that are coming in. So that's why, like with COVID, that obviously dropped off a lot, and why I'm trying to work out. Facebook's kind of working, but it's not really as efficient as I'd like. I seem to be spending more time on it than the results I'm getting from it.
Okay. Thanks, Fred. Thank you very much. And by the way, my earlier comment to you about commenting in groups and getting people sending friend requests, I don't know. I'm no Facebook algorithm expert. I haven't got a clue. But I've noticed over the last 12 months that the number of people who are sending me friend requests, I'm now at the stage where at least 70% of them are coaches. Okay, about 70. Now, they're not all people I've commented on in groups, but there must be some link within the, I don't know, within the algorithm of the people you accept as a friend, and Facebook will then source out other people of similar ilk. Maybe I'm assuming something there, but if it is, be careful who you accept as a friend, right? That's what I'm saying. Make sure they're in the type of group that you want.
But a question for you on that, Peter, like if they're coaches and a lot of people are sending out friend requests using robots, so they're not even looking at who they're sending out a request to, right? They're just actually automating it. And if you get requests from, like, unless I wanted to collaborate with somebody, there'd be no point in me accepting a friend request from another web developer, right? Maybe a graphic artist I might, because graphics aren't my bag, but like what's the benefit for me unless I have a big job and I need to farm out some work? But for the normal exercise, so it asks you the question, if you get friend requests from coaches, do you accept them and do you get any benefit out of it?
Yes and yes, because I'd say at least 75% of the coaches I'm talking to are not making very much money at all. They look good, they sound good, they're six-figure coaches, but they've never earned six figures in their lives. Okay, and when a push comes to a shove, when you get down to let's get real with each other, for goodness sake, don't give me all this crap, right? When it gets real, these people are really in great need. Now, I can't offer them one-on-one coaching services because I'm full up, but I have other opportunities. But to be quite frank with you, I'm not there to even sell them something. I'm actually there to help them because I don't know who they know. And one of the questions I'll ask them is, because my latest little thing is getting on podcasts, because that to me is one of the greatest ways to generate leads, right? And I'll simply say to them, do you have any, look, they're always grateful because I've given them something for free, no strings on it, right? And I say, you can do me a favor, if you know anyone with a podcast that is in an audience, and I call X, Y, and Z, because if you do that, maybe you'd like to introduce me. Not give me a referral, introduce me. That's how I do it anyway. As far as you're concerned, Fred, and you wouldn't really want to connect with people doing exactly the same as you, except you may learn something that they're doing about building their business that you hadn't thought about.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, I was open to learn from other people, and it depends on where the person is. Like, if they're in the US or somewhere else, but and in some cases, if I'll check the guy out, and if he's local, then it might be worthwhile catching up for a coffee anyway. Yeah. So but I just wanted to know if you were finding a benefit of like-minded people in the same industry connecting with you. That was all.
Yeah, I've got 4 of these coaches in a group, in a Zoom group coaching system. All right, they're paying for it, okay, for that. But what I did was, as part of the process of identifying, do I really want to spend time with them, Fred? What I did was, I used this free software called Loom, because I heard your comment about bots, people using bots to send out friend requests. I'm very aware of that too, because when I get a friend request, I always send a comment back to them. And if I do not get a response to it, the friend request is down the chute. I just cancel it, right? Out of the thing. Or if people send me a friend request and ask me what I do, that really irritates me as well. They don't even bother to check out my profile, right?
Well, but what I do is they ask where are you, and I look at my profile. The first thing I do is I say I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an insult, right?
Absolutely. Great.
So what I do, but for those who pass muster and who I think, my God, they may be interesting to talk to, and I don't have any preconceived ideas. I approach everybody openly because you just never know what you can learn. What I will do is I'll go out of my way, one person a day, just one a day, which is only Monday to Friday, so 5 a week. I will create a Loom video on their Facebook profile page. I go to their Facebook page, Okay, they see them on their page. I'm talking to them about their posts and their profile on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I do it on LinkedIn as well, by the way. And I asked them if you'd like some ideas about how you can improve what you've got, let me know. Okay, it's a pretty simple thing to do. The software is free, and then I message them a link to that Loom video. And when they get it, they see that they can see it in the messenger. It shows a little image. They can see I'm on their profile. So it creates curiosity as well. What's he talking about? That's all. Anyway, it works for me, Fred. I thought I'd share it with you, okay? Okay, we lost John. I don't know where he is. Let me come back. So who are we down to? We must be down to you, Pat, but I can't. You're hiding behind a blank screen. Are you there, Pat Kern? Hello? Maybe he's not. I don't know. Has anyone sent, has he left any messages in the chats? I don't think so.
He's muted. He may be talking and not realize that we don't hear him.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, look, in the interest of time, is there any other questions you'd like to share or any other thoughts you'd like to share?
I don't think Neha has gotten a chance to talk yet.
I was sort of protecting her because Neha was concerned that she didn't have a lot to contribute. But if you want to say something, Neha, go ahead.
Thank you, Peter. I use this CRM, which not many people know about.
Hold your microphone closer. I'm having trouble hearing you.
To introduce what I do. So there's two things that I'm very passionate about. Very passionate about is helping people find their own passion and purpose. So, and for me, that was through storytelling and public speaking. So these are that in both of my trainings or coaching. And my way to, but relationships are something that are very passionate to me, and I'm very passionate about, especially when it comes to self-love. I'm writing a book on it, which is why I'm not that actively doing workshops as such, but workshops are a way that I have created some lead generation for myself. Also, I have a CRM, which not a lot of people know about. It's called Sandbox. And if you're starting off, it's pretty simple to set up. This was advised by my book coach. So I just went ahead and did that. I tried MailChimp, but it was a little too complicated. So Sandbox is a CRM, and that's linked with my website. And my way to generate leads, I think 2 to 3 ways that I worked. Also workshops. So collaboration. I did a webinar with Lunch actually, which they're based off of Singapore and they're present in Southeast Asia. And so from that, I got 16 people on my mailing list. And one of them actually I'm working with right now as a client. She's my client. And Facebook groups, if you want people to join your Facebook groups, I have a group, and then I say, okay, you leave me your email address. So I may or may not email them. If they're interested in my ebook, they can also go to my website and grab that ebook. So there's a few different ways that I have ways to capture leads. And and also I'm getting ideas from other people how I can reach out to others. So I appreciate you sharing, everyone. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Yes, Anna's got a question, Neha.
And not so much a question as a comment, is that clearly Neha has a lot to say about lead generation and a lot to share. So
yeah. And I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Neha, because you messaged me saying, "Oh, Peter, I don't think I can contribute very much because I'm not sure about lead generation." And I just called you out, and I'm seconding her as well.
Yeah.
You did well,
Yeah, I
Neha. You
mean,
did well.
it got easier. It got easier. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know what I can share about. I was just getting
Yes.
idea from Yvonne. So I'm like, yes, this
Yes.
makes
See,
sense.
it's not, you haven't got to be a guru. Just share what works. Doesn't matter, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Neha. And thank you, Anna, for that. Patrick Kern, Mr. Inspiration. You're muted.
I'm unmuted. Hey, you guys, I like doing these. Sorry for missing out last week, but I get really good feed stuff from you guys, how to go about to do what I love to do. You can see the picture in the background. This used to be one of the tugs I was on. Right, that one right there is about to flop on. Oh, go alongside the barge. We're about ready to do a oil response drill in Valdez, and all the big oil companies and the Coast Guard. They always request my barge to go out and do the response because we were the best. Not bragging, but we were good. We knew what we were doing. Anyway, I lead generations. I get a few here and there. I'm not going out and getting them, leaps and bounds. I get them. They come in, they just kind of fall into place, and I message them, or I'll send them a email letter, a nice one. What did you like? And right now I'm more into doing Facebook Lives. I love doing Facebook Lives. I like doing, I'm starting to do what they call on Instagram, the Reel, something like that, or the ITV on Instagram. I love doing them because I can talk longer. And now and then I'll put one up on Twitter. But I'm starting to tell stories in LinkedIn, and they got a little spot up there to tell stories. And I'm into making videos, Vizio, and a couple of other ones. Then I link all them videos I make into Sprout. And what Sprout does, I can put a call to action up on the right-hand corner, and they can hit that. Then all suddenly I'll generate a lead that way. But one thing about Sprout, I'm still learning about. I have to find out, well, in the heck the leads get. Where do I got to go find the leads in Sprout? And they had a webinar yesterday, and I missed it. And this good friend of mine watched it. He said, "I'll let you know." So, yeah, I like telling stories. I think I got too many. And then what I'm going to start doing now on Facebook is a good friend of mine told me the other day, start telling stories about your Navy days on the Enterprise. So that's what I'm going to start doing, because there's some good ones, there's some bad ones, there's some funny ones, and there's some right down ass terrible ones. Well, scare the pants out of me what I've seen, what I've done. And after that, I'll probably go into the tugboat days, because there's a lot of good things on tugboats I've seen and heard. When you're flopping on a barge, when you're out in the middle of the ocean, all of a sudden you break that 2-inch tow cable, and it sounds like a shotgun, and try to get alongside that barge to get a hold of it. It's almost impossible. And when you got the barge going up and down like this, and there's about a 5 to 8 foot jump, and nobody wants to do it, I went, oh hell. I get up here when they're about coming down, I jump. I make it. But sometimes, I make it all the time. I have to. So that's how that's why I like, I don't know. I'm getting them periodically. They're coming in right now. Yesterday I had 2 come in through this one website I did. So, I message them, send them a nice email letter if I have their email address. And sometimes they don't put their telephone number down. If they do, I'll give them a holler, see what's going on. I just be myself and nobody else.
Good. And I look forward to seeing some of those videos, some of your lives about the enterprise. I mean, I would love to know more about, I mean, how many men? Thousands of men, yeah?
There's about 6,000 people on that when everybody's on it, when you're out to see 6,000.
When you're on the enterprise, was there any women on the enterprise?
No, when I was in there, it was from 72 to 75. There was no women on board any of the boats without, in the Navy at that, on ships at that time.
Well, I would be fascinated to hear those stories, Pat.
Probably came up later.
Okay. Thank you. Because what you do, and you do this well, is you talk about I'm looking forward to hear the ones about the enterprise, but you share your bits of wisdom or your thoughts or your bike riding journeys or whatever you're doing, all right? And all of a sudden you are building yourself a reputation as someone who's worth having to listen to because you're real and you're inspirational, right? You are, whether you like it or not. I'm not peeing in your pants. I'm just telling you, you are who you are, Pat Kern, right?
That's right.
And to me, the videos that you share always get my attention. And you are positioning yourself to have a whole variety of conversations based on whatever stories you want to talk about. I mean, you've got a stack of them, right? So,
thank you, Peter.
Well done. Well done.
I just like telling stories. I think I'm not bragging. I believe I am a good storyteller. I can go into I can go into a bar and people will be talking. They ask me about something, and all of a sudden I start telling a story, and all of a sudden they, what I tell them, what I talk about them, what, that can't happen. And this one lady I finally seen yesterday, I haven't seen for a long time. She said, "Listen to this guy. This guy is he'll blow your socks away."
Good. By the way, thank you very much, Pat. Thank you very much for that. We're going to wrap it up. But before we go, I want to thank you all for sharing your thoughts. And there are people who are generating leads in a whole different variety of ways, and I appreciate that. I would just like to add one thing to that, and this is something that works for me. Every Sunday night, and it doesn't have to be Sunday night, but for me, every Sunday night, I look at who I'm talking to in the week ahead. And if I haven't got a minimum of 2 people to talk to every day, then I'm not doing the job. That's what it amounts to for me, right? Where those people come from is a variety of ways, whether they're Facebook Lives, whether they're comments on group posts I mentioned to you, whether they're whatever, okay? Whether they're sharing content, etc. But to me, I have found as long as I've got 2, I'm talking new people, right? 2 new people a day to talk to, then my business flourishes. I don't have to worry about it. I know if I've only got 1 person to talk to, then I'm going to struggle that week. That's all I just know that in advance. All right. So I set myself a target to get 2 new people to talk to. And what I do is I position myself as someone that they really want to talk to as well. Right. So I'm not begging them for a conversation. I'm creating an opportunity where they think, I could be lucky to talk to this old bugger in Thailand. That's what I'm trying to get them to think, right? And if I can do that, okay, then I've got an opportunity to continue doing good business. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth to finish. All right. Any other comments before you go? Anna.
Yeah, I just quickly wanted to say to Neha, because she mentioned that she collaborated with some people for some workshops and other projects. That, for example, one thing I would do is if I worked with somebody and collaborated with them in the past, I would say, who do you know in your community that you think would be interesting for me to talk with? So for example, if it's somebody you even already work, you can go back to and say, hey, it was so great working with you. I mean, if you did, of course. If you don't want to connect with them again, then you don't want their community either, right? But if it was a beneficial and friendly experience, and you can go back and fall back on a shared experience and say, based on what you know about me and what I do and what I stand for, who do you think in your community because you know your community better than I do. Who do you know? Think it would be interesting to talk with. So I would turn it like this. If you already have those relationships and shared experiences.
Good, good.
Yeah.
And Fred, just before we go, can I just come back to you quickly? You mentioned that you wouldn't find it of value to reach out and connect with people who are doing the same thing as you, or was that effect? Is that right?
Yep.
Do you cover every possible contingency in the technology that you offer, or is there some parts you specialize in?
No, because I've been in the game for quite a while, I do most of the stuff. The only thing that I don't do is the graphics.
Would you find any benefit in outsourcing some of those parts?
Well, I mean, obviously, if I had too many clients, yes, there would be a benefit, but I've got lots of time. So at the moment, it's better for me just to do the work than outsource it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, Fred.
No worries.
Let me put my thinking cap on. I want to get back to you. I might have some ideas that'll help you. All right. That's all.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
No strings attached. No strings attached. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, as always. And I'll catch you next Friday at the same time. All right.
Bye, everybody. Ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great weekend,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.